The sun was high, burning over the busy streets of Lahore, Pakistan. The market square was crowded, alive with the shouts of merchants, the clinking of coins, and the smell of fresh bread, spices, and sizzling street food. People hurried to buy what they needed, some laughing, some arguing, some lost in their thoughts. Amir, a quiet Christian man in his late 20s, walked slowly through the market. He was small and gentle, wearing a simple shirt and carrying a small satchel. Today, he had come to buy some rice and sugar for his family. He smiled politely at the merchants, saying, "Thank you," and "God bless," as he moved from stall to stall. But not everyone in the market liked him. A group of men had been watching Amir for days. They hated him because of his faith. Their eyes followed him like shadows, waiting for the right moment. Amir did not know this. He moved carefully, unaware that danger was closing in. Suddenly, one of the men shouted, "Hey, you there!" Amir turned. Before he could react, the man lunged at him. Amir tried to run, but more men surrounded him. They grabbed him, shoved him, and began beating him. His small body fell to the dusty ground. The pain was sharp, like fire, and people around screamed, some shocked, some frozen. Amir cried out, "Please, stop. I haven't done anything." But the attackers laughed, hitting him harder. Blood ran down his face, and the sound of his cries mixed with the chaos of the market. Nobody came to help. Fear had made them silent. And then, something happened that no one could explain. Amir felt a warmth in his chest, like a quiet, invisible hand pressing on him, giving him strength. His attackers' hands seemed to stop midair. Their shouts froze. For a few heartbeats, the market seemed to pause. The voices, the movements, the chaos, all stopped. Amir felt calm, even though his body was still aching. One of the men, who had been the loudest, suddenly stepped back. His face went pale. He looked around as if seeing something no one else could see. Another attacker dropped his fist mid-swing. Confused, they stumbled back, whispering to each other, terrified. Amir could not see who, or what, was holding them, but he felt certain that he was not alone. People in the market began to notice. Some whispered, some gasped, some dropped their baskets of vegetables. The attackers ran away, suddenly too afraid to stay. Amir sat on the ground, trembling, wiping blood from his face. He felt a warmth and peace that he had never felt before. "Jesus, thank you," Amir whispered, tears streaming down his cheeks. He could not explain it, but he knew that something miraculous had just happened. In that crowded, noisy market, amid fear and violence, a quiet, unseen hand had saved him. The sun continued to shine, but Amir felt like he had seen something from heaven. Something that would change his life forever. And little did he know, this was only the beginning. After the attackers ran away, the market slowly returned to life, but the air felt different. People whispered to each other, pointing at Amir, who still sat on the dusty ground. Some were afraid, some were amazed, and some were curious, their eyes wide with wonder. Amir struggled to stand. His legs shook, and his body ached from the blows. But his heart was strangely light. He could still feel the warmth from before, the invisible hand that had stopped the attack. He touched his chest, whispering, "Jesus, thank you." A little boy, no older than 7, approached him carefully. He held out a small piece of bread. "Here, take this," the boy said softly. "I saw what happened. They ran away. You were saved." Amir smiled, tears filling his eyes. The kindness of a stranger, even a small child, touched him deeply. Word of the attack spread through the market like fire. Merchants closed their stalls early. People hurried home, talking quietly about the strange events. Some said it was a miracle. Others whispered that Amir had a protector stronger than anyone could see. Even those who did not believe in God could not explain what had happened. Amir tried to leave the market quietly, but a woman grabbed his arm. Her eyes were wide, filled with fear and awe. "Young man, are you okay? What happened?" she asked. Amir could only shake his head. I don't know," he admitted. "I just felt him. Jesus, he saved me." She gasped. "Jesus, here, in our market." She looked around nervously, as if expecting something to happen again. Amir nodded slowly. Yes, he saved me. As Amir walked home, the pain in his body reminded him of the attack, but his heart felt full of hope. He thought of his family, waiting for him, unaware of the danger he had just faced. He prayed quietly, asking for strength, protection, and courage. That night, when Amir returned home, his mother cried and hugged him tightly. "I heard what happened today. Why didn't anyone help you?" she asked. Amir explained everything, his voice trembling. "Mom, it was Jesus, he was with me. He stopped them. I don't know how, but he did." His mother held him close, whispering prayers. Thank God he is with you." Amir felt tears fill his eyes again, but this time, they were tears of gratitude, not pain. Even as he tried to sleep that night, Amir could not stop thinking about the market, the fear, the attackers, and the strange warmth that had protected him. Questions swirled in his mind. How had Jesus stopped them? Would they come back? And why had this happened to him, out of all people? Somewhere deep inside, Amir felt a new strength growing. He realized that life would never be the same. Something had touched him. Something bigger than fear, bigger than pain, bigger than the world he had known. And he knew, somehow, that this was only the beginning of a journey that would change everything. Little did Amir know, the events of that day would ripple far beyond the market square. People who saw the miracle would start to ask questions, and forces he could not see would begin to move. Darkness and danger were not gone. They were only waiting for the right moment. And in the quiet of the night, Amir whispered a prayer. "Jesus, I trust you. Whatever comes next, I trust you." The morning after the attack, the streets of Lahore felt different. Birds chirped, and the sun rose bright over the city, but Amir felt a shadow lingering over him. News of the market incident had spread like wildfire. Whispers followed him wherever he went. Some called him brave, some called him foolish, but others looked at him with fear. Amir tried to continue his daily life, visiting the small shops for supplies, stopping by the church, and helping his neighbors. Yet, every time he walked through the streets, he felt eyes on him, angry, suspicious eyes. The men who had attacked him were still out there, and he knew they were planning something worse. By mid-afternoon, Amir returned to the market square. He wanted to see the place where the miracle had happened. The stalls were quieter now, and a few merchants peeked out from behind their counters. Amir felt a chill as he walked past the dusty ground where he had fallen. He whispered a prayer. "Jesus, protect me. Keep me safe." Suddenly, a shadow moved across the alley. Amir's heart jumped. He saw the same men from yesterday, lurking near the spice stalls, their faces twisted with anger. They had brought sticks and stones this time. Their eyes burned with hatred, and Amir realized they would not stop until they had hurt him badly. He tried to turn and leave, but one of the men shouted, "There he is. Don't let him escape this time." The attackers advanced. Amir ran, dodging through the crowded market, people screaming and jumping out of the way. But the men were faster, closing in with every step. Just as one of them raised a stick to strike him, a sudden force seemed to surround Amir. A strong wind blew through the market, tossing papers and empty baskets into the air. The attackers stumbled, their hands frozen mid-strike. For a brief moment, it was as if time itself had paused. Amir felt warmth again, like a shield wrapping around him. His fear melted away, replaced by a strange calm. He didn't understand it, but he trusted it. The attackers looked around wildly, their anger replaced with confusion and fear. One by one, they dropped their sticks and fled, tripping over themselves as if an invisible power had pushed them away. The people in the market gasped, whispering to each other. Some fell to their knees, praising God. Some stared in disbelief. Amir, still trembling, fell to his knees too, tears running down his face. "Thank you, Jesus," he whispered. "Thank you for saving me again." Even after the men had gone, Amir knew this was not the end. The attackers would return with more plans, and the danger in the city was far from over. But he also knew that he was no longer alone. Something greater than fear, greater than hatred, walked with him. That night, Amir sat by his small window, staring at the moonlit streets. He prayed longer than usual, asking for courage, for protection, and for the strength to face whatever was coming next. His body ached, but his spirit felt strong. Deep in the city, hidden in the shadows, the attackers whispered among themselves. He survived. How? How did he survive? Their fear was growing. Amir's miracle had unsettled them. And yet, they did not understand that this was just the beginning. A storm of events was coming, and Amir would soon learn that faith was not just about being saved, it was about standing strong when the darkness tried to take everything away. Days passed, but Amir could not shake the feeling that something was coming. The market was quieter than usual, and many of the merchants whispered behind closed doors. People avoided his path, some afraid, some curious, all wondering about the strange events that had saved him not once, but twice. That night, the city streets were dark and empty. A heavy wind rattled the windows of Amir's small home. He sat on his bed, praying softly, trying to calm the worry in his heart. Jesus, whatever comes, I trust you. Please protect us. His mother slept beside him, unaware of the storm that was creeping closer. Suddenly, a loud noise shattered the quiet. Amir jumped up. There were footsteps outside, slow, deliberate, and menacing. He peeked through the window and saw shadowy figures moving toward the house. His heart pounded. The attackers had returned, more determined, more dangerous. Amir knew he could not run. There was no time. He dropped to his knees in the middle of his small room, hands clasped tightly. Jesus, help me, please. I cannot face this alone. The words left his lips in a desperate whisper, trembling with fear and hope. The door shook as the men tried to break in. Amir's body trembled, but deep inside, he felt a calm strength filling him. The warmth he had felt in the market returned, stronger than ever. It was as if a light surrounded him, invisible but powerful. The attackers forced the door open, and the room filled with shadows. They raised their hands, ready to strike. But then, something extraordinary happened. A bright, gentle light seemed to fill the room, though no lamp or candle burned. The men froze, their eyes wide with fear. They stumbled backward, unable to step closer. Amir could not see who, or what, was protecting him, but he felt an unshakable presence. It was Jesus, shielding him, standing between him and the danger. One of the attackers screamed and ran, tripping over the furniture. Another fell to his knees, trembling, unable to move. The last one shouted in anger, but his voice sounded weak, powerless, as if the room itself was pushing him away. Within moments, all three fled into the night, terrified beyond reason. Amir sank to the floor, exhausted but safe. His mother woke and rushed to him, wrapping her arms around him. What happened? She whispered, shaking. Amir could only whisper back, Jesus, he saved us, again. The night passed slowly, but Amir felt something had changed. The attackers had returned, yet they were powerless against the divine protection around him. He realized that his life was no longer his own. Something greater than the city, greater than fear, was guiding him, shaping his path. As the first light of dawn crept through the window, Amir prayed again, silently promising to live courageously, to trust fully, and to follow the path Jesus had set before him. He knew the danger was not gone. Shadows still lurked in the city, but he also knew he was never truly alone. And far away, hidden in the darkness, whispers of the miracle spread. People began to speak of Amir not just as a man who survived, but as someone touched by something divine. The city itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for what would come next. Amir closed his eyes, feeling a strange peace. He had faced the shadows of fear and pain, and something inside him had grown stronger. Whatever came, he was ready to stand. The city of Lahore was quiet that morning, but an electric tension hung in the air. Word of Amir's survival had spread through the neighborhood, and whispers of a miracle reached the ears of many. People talked in hushed voices about the Christian man who had faced violence, and lived, protected by something unseen. Amir walked carefully through the streets, still sore from the attacks, but his heart was filled with courage. He knew the attackers were still out there, planning, waiting for the right moment. But he also knew he was not alone. Jesus was with him. That knowledge filled him with a calm strength that surprised even himself. As Amir approached the market, a crowd had gathered. Some were merchants, some were neighbors, and some were strangers drawn by the stories of the miracle. The attackers from before appeared again, hoping to intimidate him, but the sight of the crowd caused hesitation. They glared at Amir with anger, but something about him, the calm in his eyes, the courage in his stance, made them uneasy. Amir paused and looked at them. His voice was steady, soft, but carried a power he had never felt before. "You cannot harm me," he said quietly. "God is with me. Jesus protects me. You do not have power here." For a moment, the attackers laughed mockingly. But then, a strange thing happened. A sudden wind swept through the market, tossing papers, baskets, and even the light fabrics of the stalls into the air. The attackers stumbled, their anger turning into confusion and fear. Amir felt a warmth rise in his chest, the same warmth that had saved him before. People in the crowd gasped. Some fell to their knees, whispering prayers. Others watched in awe as the men who had threatened Amir began to shake, their faces pale, their hands trembling. One by one, they dropped their weapons and ran, unable to take another step forward. It was as if an invisible wall had blocked them, a power far greater than anything they could understand. Amir fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. He whispered, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you for never leaving me." Around him, the crowd began to pray, some crying, some shouting in joy, some simply standing in wonder. Even the little boy who had first given him bread was there, smiling shyly, his eyes shining with amazement. The market returned to peace, but Amir knew that the event would not be forgotten. People began to speak of faith, of courage, of miracles. Even those who had doubted began to see that something real, something powerful, had occurred. Amir's life, and the lives of those who witnessed the miracle, would never be the same. That night, Amir prayed longer than ever. He thanked Jesus not only for saving him but for showing him that courage, faith, and love could shine even in the darkest moments. His body still bore bruises, but his spirit was stronger than ever. From that day on, Amir walked through the city with a quiet confidence. The attackers never returned, but even if they had, he knew he would not fear. Jesus had shown him that true protection was not just from harm, but from the fear that could control a heart. And so, the Christian man who had been beaten in the market square became a living testament to faith. A miracle had occurred, but it was not only in the stopping of violence, it was in the courage, hope, and light that now burned brightly in Amir's heart. The city remembered the day the shadows fled, and Amir remembered forever the power of trust, prayer, and divine love. Summary: Amir, a Christian in Pakistan, is attacked in a crowded market. Twice, attackers try to harm him, but Jesus miraculously intervenes, protecting him in ways no one can explain. Witnesses are amazed, fear turns to awe, and Amir's faith grows stronger. By the end, the miracle transforms him, the city, and even his attacker's perception of faith. Moral lesson: true faith and courage can overcome fear, danger, and evil. Trust in divine guidance can bring protection, hope, and transformation, even in the darkest moments. The end.